Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. This week, your key to the week is the Justice card. So all of the usual meanings apply. This could be a week where you're looking at a contract, looking over, maybe you are signing on the dotted line, but there's something else that came to me. Once I put this card on the board, the first thing that came through was this week you're not going to be able to do that thing that you love to do. Geminis love to play both sides of the field. They like to look at, love to have different options, etc. And that's actually a really good thing, right? Variety genuinely is the spice of life. But this week, the feeling that I got from this, and the way that it translated into words is, you can't sit on the fence this week, all right? There's something that really does, it needs a decision. It needs a firm sort of yes or no. Are you in? Are you out? Are you going to do this? Are you not going to do this? In some way, shape or form, you are having to, it's like it's not enough for you to kind of say, well, I'll keep it open and, I'll flip back and forth through the pages. This week, you don't have that luxury. Something requires a hard yes or a hard no. Whichever it is, you are making a decision this week. Sorry about that. It was my my manifestation alarm. I practice what I preach. Now, when it comes to your different sectors this week, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and options this week, you have the Knight of Wands. So for some of you, this is travel that you're committing to. This might be actually you getting really serious as well about moving ahead with an idea. For a lot of you, it's kind of like there's something you've wanted to do, some passion project, maybe some secret desire to get back to the gym, whatever it is. It's like this week you're pressing the go button. So it's like you've had the time to think about it and to hash out the details and stuff, but this is where you really get to it. This is where you really go after it. So I love this. I will also say to you, I wouldn't be surprised if this week you kind of feel, and I hope this isn't the case, but you might feel, not backed into a corner, but like this week you might kind of feel, okay, you know what? I have to make a decision, all right? And in order to get this done or to get this off the ground, I've got to press go now, right? There's, again, that double up message. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Hanged Man. So I'm going to say this to you, and this isn't to say you should take my word as law. What I will say, though, is communication is going to be a little bit awry this week, or awry, as I like to say. And for that reason, it would be wise to not get many opinions on what you're trying to do, all right? And usually, Gemini will go to a million different people, talk about the same thing, have different conversations, before or against whatever they're talking about, so that they can collect the data and the information to find what is the general consensus here. This week, that's not going to cut it, and adding more voices to the choir, so to speak, is going to produce a sound that you really don't want to hear. That Hanged Man card in the communication sector always, and I've noticed this for personal readings, for client readings, for readings for myself or for my loved ones, whenever this card comes up in a communication capacity, it usually represents one or two things. One, whatever you're talking about, it's not clear. The information that you're getting back is not clear. Or two, something about what you're doing or your approach to whatever you're hearing is going to end up seeing you lose out in some way. All right, so I'm going to say this to you. Adding more voices, getting more input from many different places is not going to serve you this week. All right, make your decision, stick with it and be done with it. When it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I like this for some of you. Maybe bringing either a religious or a spiritual document, text or understanding into some kind of, come on brain, into some kind of It's like whatever you're studying, you're turning to religious and or spiritual messages or texts to really kind of find a way to navigate this. And actually it could, you know, it could have a dual purpose here, which you're all about, right? You love a little 2-for-1 for your those of you that are employed by somebody else. If you're presented with a new contract this week, I would be very mindful, all right? There's something about this where maybe you're not seeing all of the details or you haven't read the fine print. This is one of those weeks where you absolutely should. When it comes to those of you, and you know me, I hate to use that word, but in this regard, yeah, I'd be remiss if I wasn't telling you to whatever contracts, whatever, oh, you know, we're thinking about changing this or we're thinking about implementing that, and you're presented with paperwork, you know what, boss, I'm going to take this home first and have a proper read through it before I put my signature on it. Thank you. For those of you that are self-employed, business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, if you are planning to sign someone up for your business or your work, whether this is an employee or a client, especially if this is someone that you've been courting for a while, trying to get on board, I'm not 100% sure this is the right fit. All right. And that's not to deter you or dissuade you. Maybe you've done your homework and your due diligence and you're like, Raf, you don't know what you're talking about in this regard. You have free will, right? You've got agency. You always do. I'm just telling you, this energy is a little bit dicey, all right? When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, this would actually be a very good week to do some kind of spiritual study, whatever that means to you, all right? For your love and relations, you've got the 9 of Wands, not the easiest of cards, and there is a potential here for emotions to get bruised over a misunderstanding. So if you're partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, there's something that you're really wanting to do or to press ahead with, and the partnership or the relationship is not supportive of it. Just look, our partner's not going to like everything that we do, or, you know, all of our friends or all of even our family, and vice versa. That is a healthy expression of life. Not everything gels all the time, and this week it could kind of reach that point where maybe you're trying to push a circle through a square hole, or, you know, the other way around. You get my drift? For those of you that are single, look, I think this is a really good week for you to understanding, and maybe through a conversation, and maybe this wasn't the point of the conversation, but maybe you come out of a certain conversation like, I kind of do that in relationships, or actually this happens a lot to me in relationships. You could notice a recurring pattern. You could notice where you overextend or where you give too much, where things don't sort of line up for you. And I wonder if this is you really getting hip or wise to it and then sort of heading it off at the pass, as they say. For, you know, and I got to say though, if you are in a relationship, there is a potential for emotions to be bruised this week. So just be mindful around communication. Now, before we get into your money and materials, a little promo, a little business. For those of you that wanted to get onto the Mindset Magic course but couldn't, many of you asked, will I ever offer Mindset Magic at the same price as the introductory? The answer is no. But on the 24th of November, I will be offering a very chunky, juicy discount where you can get it basically, not exactly, but basically half price. There's going to be a code in the description box below for 24 hours only. On the 24th of November, you can get Mindset Magic for half off. There's still 2 community calls to go. On top of that, you'll be getting the energy editing work that we do, which is having, like, the results that we're having is insane. Like, really, you'll be getting the recordings and you will be shown how to manifest in a fun, practical, tangible and easy way. Trust me, you want to get this. And anyway, with that said, let's see what's going on with your money and materials. You have the 8 of Wands. So there's a lot of fire here to start with. There's a lot of communication coming in from a distance here. And I kind of feel like this is the problem. It's like, I don't know, you know, and I don't say this to be offensive to anybody, but when we were younger, we had a game, and I don't know what they call it nowadays, but we had a game called Chinese Whispers. And it's like one person would say something to somebody, you know, they'd whisper it to them, and then it would just go round. And before it got round to the other, it was completely different to what the actual thing was. When it comes to money, finances, and especially working with people overseas or at a distance, there's some confusion around this, especially where money is involved. And it's like there's a miscommunication here somewhere. So just be really mindful about that this week. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the 8 of Wands is your lower back, your hips, your buttocks, and your thighs. So I would say with a week like this, do some stretching. I'm not a doctor. I can't give you medical advice. I'm not even a personal trainer. I'm just saying this would be, you know, around those areas, like especially if you work at a desk and stuff, like this would be a good week to stretch more than you usually do. For your home and environment, I really like this for setting up meetings or people coming to the house, like for visiting, like, yeah, I'll come stay for a day over Christmas, or we'll have, you know, a weekend, or all of that kind of stuff. I like it for that. I'm just not so sold on like the business side of things. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.